Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
The Straight Shootin View.
Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Straight Shootin LJA and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, one thing I do want to discuss is, well, risk and reward in regards to transfers and injuries. Now, as a Liverpool supporter, obviously, we've had another season this season so far where the injury bug has bitten us again. And people are obviously urging FSG to dip into the transfer market in January. I'm not here to talk about Liverpool's woes. I'm just opening with that because transfers are going to be very interesting in January of 2023. Because you look at all the injuries leading up to this Winter World Cup in Qatar. And for me, there's a lot of people who think, oh my God, this January is going to be interesting for transfers, ain't it? And I'm kind of the opposite mindset because it's risk versus reward. We've seen in the past, let me take you back. We've seen in the past, remember Senegal in 2002 and the impressive showing that they had, especially against France. El Hadji Diouf, Salif Diao. Both of those guys, as a Liverpool supporter, both of those guys were bought off the back of impressive performances during the World Cup in 2022. But, yeah, didn't pan out so well for Liverpool. Karol Poborski brought off an impressive set of performances at Euro 96. Didn't pan out so well at Manchester United. And the list goes on of players bought after impressive World Cup or European Championship performances who flatter to deceive when they go back to the clubs. And that's in the summer window where you've got a couple of months. Now, with this January window, I don't think this January window is going to be as busy as most people think it's going to be. Because with the injuries in the middle of this season, I think a lot more clubs are going to be cautious. And also as well, with this World Cup being in the middle of the season, a lot of clubs just ain't going to have time to get that stuff done. Especially you look at, say, the Premier League, where I think there's like about 5 days to a week's break after the World Cup final, and then everything all kicks off again. I think it's like December 21st, where you got the World Cup final, and then I think it is literally 5 days. Yeah, 5 days later, you got the Boxing Day games and the New Year schedule. So I think Premier League sides especially are going to have their hands full and be very occupied with that as opposed to the transfer window. And also remember as well, imagine someone has a standout World Cup performance in November, December, and say they're out of contract in July. Why would you blow potentially double the price what you would have paid in the normal January transfer window? I remember January transfer window prices are generally overinflated anyway. Why would you pay even more, maybe twice as much as the already overly inflated January prices to bring someone in who's potentially out of contract in July? So you may see a load of pre-contract agreements. That's where the activity may be, because I don't think you're going to see clubs spending major money in a January window. Because as I said, players are already overpriced during that window. So with a lot of players, there are players coming back after the World Cup from injury. So for instance, Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz, just to name a couple from Liverpool, who are coming back after the World Cup. Paul Pogba at Juventus after the World Cup, among many others. So it is one of them where it's like it's gonna be an interesting time, because as I said, I think a lot of clubs are going to be even more cautious than usual, as I said, because of the previously already inflated January windows. So I don't think there's going to be as much movement as usual with this. And for me, the World Cup, I think there are going to be a few injuries coming out of the World Cup. But there's a load going into the World Cup as it is. But I think there's going to be even more. There might be a load of emergency loans, and I think that market, I think the loans market will probably be exploited to its fullest, and a load of pre-contract agreements will be signed in the January window ahead of July. Because as I said, I do not think it's going to be it's not going to be a regular window anyway. Because as I said, with the July to September window, it's a case of you've got more time to plan your buys accordingly. But even with a World Cup, it's usually June into July, so you've got about a month anyway. So it's one of them where it's like you could have someone have an amazing World Cup, but then going into another squad, into another team, potentially moving countries halfway into a season, you got to look at that side of it as well. Because say someone has an impressive performance at the World Cup for, say, Spain, moves from La Liga to the Premier League, they're coming in halfway through a season. So it's a case of, like, that's even more of a gamble. So it's on them where it's, I think it's going to be an odd one. And I think this transfer window is not going to be as busy as some people think it is. And I don't think it's going to be as busy as a normal summer window, just purely because of timing. In certain other countries who are having winter breaks may be a bit more busy, but I doubt the Premier League is going to be that busy. I said, unless it's pre-contract agreements or emergency loans to cover injuries, or just the loan window in general. But in terms of buy-in players, I don't think it's going to be as busy as a regular January window, and I do not, because I said look at the way contracts end. They usually end on July 1st, not in January, and it's already pricey enough to sign someone on a pre-contract agreement in January and get them to agree. So yeah, it is. I think it is going to be interesting. But you know, I want to know your views. Is the Qatar World Cup, is that going to are there going to be a load of injuries coming out after the World Cup? Is it going to spark a transfer frenzy in the January 2023 window, especially in the Premier League? Or do you think it's going to go the other way? Are pre-contract agreements and loans going to be the hot thing, as opposed to clubs taking chances on even more overly inflated prices than usual? I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and I want to know your views. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website. At Pitch Talk on Twitter, tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. At Pitch Talk on Instagram as well for vlog previews, images, and much, much more. We're at Pitch Talk on Reddit. We're on TikTok as well. Come and find us. We are also on Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. Also, as well, youtube.com/Pitch Talk for all of our videos. Pitch-talk.com for our website, where you can find podcasts, information about us four co-hosts as well, myself, the G-Man, JBK, and Nathan Arsenal. Also, as well, we're on Player FM, TuneIn Radio, Verbal, VURBL, Ghana, GAANA, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. So many places, Spotify, so many places you can find us. Get in touch with us. Give us a like, subscribe. Let us know your views. Spread the word as well. I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and until next time on the Straight Shootin View, enjoy the Qatar 2022 World Cup, and I will see you soon. Take care, peeps.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and
audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now.